This evening, government seeks $31 billion in funding for low-carbon development strategy 2030. 2 men remanded for the murder of police constable Quincy Lewis after skeletal remains found nearly 3 years later. Fowl Thief sentenced to 12 months imprisonment for larceny offences. In the region, suspected Haiti gang members stoned, set on fire by crowd. And internationally, Ukraine's allies denounce cynical Russian meeting at UN. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 25th, 2023. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, 2 men, Shafiq Vernon and Jamal Van Lewis, were remanded to jail for the murder of Police Constable Quincy Lewis when they appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court via Zoom on Monday, April 24th. Lewis's skeletal remains were discovered last Friday, almost 3 years after he was reported missing. The accused appeared before Senior Magistrate Leron Daly and were not required to plead to the indictable charge of murder. The accused were jointly charged with the alleged masterminds Takrudi Al-Samaru and his wife Nakiba Zahid Zafarali, who had fled the jurisdiction and are expected to be extradited to face criminal charges. Lewis was last seen alive in June of 2020 after leaving his home for work duties at the Agricola police station. His remains were discovered in a shallow grave at the Madwini Sandpit area on the Sault-Linden Highway. The case has been adjourned to May 24, 2023, and the police are expected to send the remains overseas for DNA testing to confirm its identity. Also making the headlines, the government has presented a supplementary bill seeking approval for $31 billion in supplementary funding related to the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030. The funds will be used to finance program components of the LCDS, which will be financed from carbon credits inflows. In November 2022, Ghana issued the world's first jurisdiction-scale sovereign carbon credits, followed by the first sale of such credits in global carbon markets. These carbon credits inflow will be allocated to program components of the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030 and will be distributed through 2 disbursement channels. The first disbursement channel will provide 15% of all revenues received from the sales of the carbon credits directly into indigenous and local communities across Guyana. This will amount to some $4.7 billion for the year of 2023. The allocation will be determined based on population, including villages, communities, and satellites. The second disbursement channel will allocate 85% of earnings from the sale of carbon credits to a total value of $26.5 billion for the 2023 allocation. The funds will be used to meet the most urgent priorities of low carbon development and climate adaptation and mitigation interventions outlined by the LCDS 2030. The investment will support Guyana's forest governance and management and forest legality, which had been recognized by programs such as the European Union's Forest Law Enforcement Governance and Trade Initiative. In other news, political parties, voluntary groups, and individuals who submitted candidates lists for the upcoming local government elections in Guyana have been given time to correct any defects identified by the Guyana Elections Commission. Returning officers were responsible for examining the list and notifying leaders of defects by April 20th, with corrections allowed until April 26th. The final approved list will be gazetted by GCOM on April 29th, after which it will be known which constituencies and local authority areas the parties and individuals will be contesting in. GCOM has stated that parties will not be barred from contesting the elections due to any defects on their lists. Stick around when we return. Fire Service to identify critical gaps to advance improvements, and National Assembly greenlights amendments to the Court of Appeal Bill.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hey, this is your fancy vehicle and that is your house?
Yes, this is my vehicle and actually I'm waiting on my land. I'm actually renting this house for $50,000.
$50,000? You head boy, you crazy, you mad, you head no good. Why you buy? Look, let me show you that life. Come with me.
Come on down to Fabulous Homes today. Pay $50,000 every month for 36 months or until you reach 50% of your house costs. Move in after 75% of the cost has been paid.
This is wonderful. Let's go. Sign me up.
Alright, let me go and dash you your landlord.
To explore our home ownership program, check our Facebook page for more information or come down to our office at Avalon Friendship.
Hey, Chinese, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
You got through?
Yes.
Call us at 227-1380 or 615-8740. Fabulous Homes International Realty, changing tenants into homeowners.
At Fabulous Homes, we bring your dreams to life.
Welcome back. According to Minister of Home Affairs Robertson Ben, the Ghana Fire Service is set to identify 10 critical gaps in its operations to advance improvements in the line with Ghana's rapid economic transformation. Speaking at the Ghana Fire Service Senior Officers Conference, Minister Ben highlighted the need for the agency to be well prepared for the upcoming developmental projects, including the Wales Gas to Energy project.
We should not be disappointed where we are now in terms of certain issues, in terms of the organization or the totality of the ministry's development. What we have to do, as I keep saying, is to identify, as was said, the gaps. Identify the critical to-do things, the to-do list. Identify the most critical 10, I say, iterative issues which we have to work at to have improvement.
The minister pointed out that the agency must learn and exchange experiences and knowledge from its counterparts in various countries to further advance the fire service.
We have to go to Bovista to engage with the fire service persons there. They're waiting on us to come to see their equipment, their methods, and what we could learn from each other. We have to do this just now. And we also have to go to Trinidad and set up engagements with them.
Minister Ben urged the agency to take advantage of training opportunities from these partnerships to further elevate the service. The minister also expressed concerns with the number of fires that are maliciously set on private and public properties, citing the need for public awareness of the effects of such acts. On Monday, the Court of Appeal Amendment Bill of 2022 was passed in Ghana's National Assembly to improve the efficiency of court proceedings. The amendment aims to increase the number of appellate court judges to at least 5 and no more than 9 to cope with the tremendous increase in litigation and the mammoth caseload on the Court of Appeal docket, which currently only has 3 permanent appellate judges. The Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Anil Nandlal, said the increase in the complement of judges is long overdue and the government is committed to improving the justice system. The government has already implemented several measures such as audio-visual recording systems, new civil procedure rules, and an increase in the complement of High Court judges. The opposition member of parliament also supported the bill, recognizing the heavy backlog of cases that puts a strain on the appeal court judges. In a recent development, a man known as Fowl Thief has been sentenced to 12 months imprisonment after pleading guilty to several larceny offences. Bola Prasad, also called Daniel, a 33-year-old resident of Logwood Enmore, East Coast Demerara, was arrested and charged by police ranks on April 19, 2023 in connection with 5 simple larceny offences and 1 larceny of poultry offence committed on several residents of Enmore and the surrounding villages. The accused was read the charges after appearing at the Vigilance Magistrates Court before Magistrate Fabio Azor. Prasad pleaded guilty to 2 of the simple larceny charges and the larceny of poultry charge, resulting in a sentence of 12 months imprisonment for the 3 offences. However, the accused pleaded not guilty to 3 of the simple larceny charges, and these matters were adjourned until June 25, 2023. Don't go away after the break. Death toll in Kenyan starvation cult rises to 73, and Ukraine's allies denounce cynical Russian meeting at UN.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, gov't seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in oil. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Quanto quero um sol vizinho, mesmo céu, você
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hey, this is your fancy vehicle and that is your house?
Yes, this is my vehicle, and actually I'm waiting on my land. I'm actually renting this house for $50,000.
$50,000? You head boy? You crazy? You mad? You head no good? Why you look, let me show you that light. Come with me.
Come on down to Fabulous Homes today. Pay $50,000 every month for 36 months or until you reach 50% of your house costs. Move in after 75% of the cost has been paid.
This is wonderful. Let's go. Sign me up.
Alright, let me go and dash you your landlord.
To explore our home ownership program, check our Facebook page for more information or come down to our office at Avalon Friendship.
Hey, Chinese, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
You got through?
Yes.
Call us at 227-1380 or 615-8740. Fabulous Homes International Realty, changing tenants into homeowners.
At Fabulous Homes, we bring your dreams to life.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. More than 12 suspected gang members in Haiti were lynched and their bodies were set on fire by residents in the capital Port-au-Prince, police and witnesses said, as the United Nations warns that insecurity in the city had reached levels comparable to countries in armed conflict. Haiti's National Police said in a brief statement that officers in the city stopped and searched a minibus for contraband earlier on Monday and had confiscated weapons from the suspects before members of the population unfortunately lynched them. The statement did not elaborate on how members of the crowd were able to take control of the suspects. A witness told the Associated Press news agency that members of the public took the suspected gang members away from the police, beat them and stoned them before putting tires on them, pouring gasoline over them and burning them. The gruesome killing followed days of confrontations between gang members and security forces. Internationally, dozens more bodies have been found in eastern Kenya on land owned by a leader of a religious cult. At least 73 people have died, including women and children. Authorities said they believe the victims starved themselves to death after being told to stop eating in order to meet Jesus. Al Jazeera's Katrina Soy reports.
More bodies are being retrieved from graves at the Shakahola forest in Malindi along the Kenyan coast. Most of the people who died here were women and children. They are said to have starved to death after their pastor told them they'll go directly to heaven. Forensic experts are taking samples from the remains to determine the cause of death.
All these bodies we have exhumed here, post-mortem will be done. We are also collecting samples from the graves. And you've seen mass graves. We are collecting samples. Those who will go, those soil samples will go through various tests. We want to identify whether there was any poisoning.
This forest lies on more than 300 hectares of land. The investigative team here says it's doing what it can to cover more ground. Police are looking for more graves. They believe that they have not even scratched the surface. Some of the bodies are decomposed. That means this has been going on for a while. Some relatives have traveled from different parts of the country to look for their loved ones.
Last year, my relatives told us they're going for a mission. We were worried because they were vague about the mission.
My brother-in-law recently called. He said he was hiding in the bush with others. I'm afraid they might be starving themselves.
Paul Mackenzie is the pastor suspected of being involved in this case. He's known to the police. He has been arrested several times, but he gets off because of a lack of evidence. He appeared in court last month after he was accused of causing the deaths of 2 children at his farm. He was released on bail, and that's when the police raided the farm. Human rights activists say the local administration failed to protect a vulnerable community that was under its care.
Some previous years we'd gotten this report, but the reports from the chief and the administration within were not taken with a lot of seriousness.
Many questions remain unanswered, but for now the priority is identifying the victims and how they died, as well as reaching those who may still be hiding out in the forest. Catherine Soy, Shakahola, Kilifi County, Kenya.
And finally, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has accused the West of what he calls abandoning diplomacy when it comes to the war in Ukraine. Lavrov, chairing a UN Security Council meeting, also blamed the West, particularly the US, for a profound crisis in the UN system. Al Jazeera's diplomatic editor James Bay reports.
The Russian foreign minister in New York presiding over the UN Security Council. He said the world system was evaporating before our eyes.
Now, the United Nations-centered system is enduring a profound crisis whose root cause was the desire of some members of our organization to replace international law and the United Nations Charter with a certain rules-based order. Nobody has seen these rules. They were not the subject of transparent international negotiations.
But Western diplomats said the decision to call this meeting about the defense of the UN's founding charter was cynical. The US ambassador said it was Russia that had violated the charter by invading Ukraine. She'd come to the meeting accompanied by the sister of US citizen Paul Whelan, who's been imprisoned in Russia for over 4 years.
Russia, the convener of today's meeting, invaded its neighbors in Ukraine and struck at the heart of the UN Charter. And Russia, time and time again, has violated universal human rights and fundamental freedoms, both outside and inside its own borders.
Paul was a corporate security director. He had a job he loved, a home, a life of hope and opportunity. All that has been taken away from him by Russia, a country that revels in its culture of lies.
Mr. Lavrov also had an important meeting with the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Russia says the Black Sea Grain Initiative expires on May the 18th, and there are doubts whether it will be renewed.
Minister Lavrov, can the grain deal survive? After your meeting, can the grain deal survive?
Don't shout. Don't shout.
So Mr. Lavrov simply admonished me for my loud question, but it's clear from a recent conversation that I had with Russia's deputy foreign minister that Moscow's not at all happy with the way the deal is currently working, and senior UN officials are worried that Russia won't renew it. That, of course, would greatly worsen the global food crisis. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
At least 12. This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV 2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Safe TV 2 headline news on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and in the evening at 7 for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.